And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Lister Pros TV. Today we're at Fairway Mortgage in Las Vegas, Nevada with Anetta Replogle of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services.
Hello.
Awesome. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day and joining me on Real Estate Pros.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So we'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself for those that don't know who you are.
Okay. My name is Anetta Replogle. I am a licensed agent with Berkshire Hathaway, which I love, and I'm also the owner and founder of Transitioning Life Connections. So it goes hand in hand, and all to do with real estate here in Las Vegas.
Awesome. So talk to us a little bit about Transition Life.
Transitioning Life Connections.
There you go.
So I always make it easier. I said every life transition needs a little TLC. So if you remember it TLC, it's a little bit easier to remember. I got into fixing up houses. Almost 20 years ago, before flipping was a household word. I kind of drank the Kool-Aid on real estate and just never looked back. And over the years, I transitioned from doing my own houses to getting my contractor's license to building houses to helping other people in their transitions. And it just made sense to go full circle and get my real estate license to really be able to provide as many options as I could for people that are in transition. Mm-hmm. So everybody's kind of in a transition in one way or another, and that's kind of where it started.
Real estate.
So,
awesome.
In real estate, yeah.
So what are your focuses now in 2019 in real estate?
So I tend to focus on the older houses. A lot of seniors. I work with a lot of seniors, a lot of people downsizing and decluttering, kind of transitioning them to the next stage of their life, whether it's retirement community, going back to live with family, and then putting new families into those houses. Mm. So you can't not love the new houses. They're glamorous, they're beautiful, they're move-in ready, but I really like bringing houses back to life. So I've just 100% focused more on the older houses and the east side and bringing houses back to life and then putting,
So do you focus on fixing and flipping then? Doing those properties?
Oh, I hate it. So flipping is like that word has been so hijacked. So it's like I'm such a they've hijacked my word, and it's hard for me to say, yes, I focus on flipping. I don't like that word. So I focus on buying and reselling houses, first of all, but you want to give people the option. You let them know, okay, I will buy your house for cash for this much money, and this is why. And you kind of break it down to them. Or I can list it for this much, and this is why. So the whole thing is about being able to provide as many options, but also showing them where their money goes. Like, you don't mind, people say it's like, oh, they make all this on those flipping. Stop watching those shows. Do not believe that flipping house shows and every person that swung a hammer with their dad in junior high is not a general contractor. Just telling you that now. All painters are not created equally, so you want to just make sure people realize that there is a privilege that goes along with fixing up a house for somebody and reselling it for them. So it's not just going in there and doing it as fast as you possibly can, paint, carpet, tile, everybody does that. But when I show a house that I think was a flip, people don't mind buying flip houses, but you want to say like, okay, you've done this beautiful job now, but you didn't replace the 20-year-old thermostat. Or they put beautiful new countertops but they put the same sinks in, which have like the same, everything like that. So when I focus on reselling houses, buying and reselling houses the right way, and, leaving enough equity for somebody to still buy a decent deal.
Right.
So it's just kind of, but I also give them the option. So I list just as many houses as I buy. So I do both.
So do you represent buyers as well, or just mostly on the buy side? And
I do represent buyers. So okay. I've fallen into working with a lot more sellers, but I do represent buyers. I always kind of make sure that they meet me first, and I have a good rapport with them, and that we're on the same page. So it's kind of, you want to make sure that my personality works out with them as much as theirs does with me, because like I said, I always think of it as such a privilege of being able to find somebody a home. And really, you work a lot more with the buyer one-on-one than you do with the seller. Because the seller, it's like you have one thing, you know what you're selling. Buyers, you have to really kind of unravel what they think they want and then kind of show them what really makes sense. And then also wrap it up into what they can afford and what is going to be good for them long-term, whatever their goals are.
So on the sell side, how do you find, do you consider them deals that you find, or find the people that you're helping out? Because I think that's, in the resale business and being able to improve properties and resell or list them, whatever is a better option for the sellers, how do you find those people? Do you work a lot by referral since you've been in the business so long, or do you have different avenues of finding these people?
It's always different avenues. I've only been licensed in Las Vegas for real estate for a year. Like prior to that, I was doing all my own projects, which you aren't. But it prompted me to get my license because of how many people needed good representation and needed people to explain to them the difference. And I appreciate that a lot of people go get their real estate license, and it's fun, but you also have to have the discipline to master your craft and appreciate that you need to know how to break it down and explain it to people, especially something as important as their house, in such a big investment. It's not just like, okay, well, I think I'll sell a house today.
Right.
So how I find my buyers, and a lot of referral, again, I focus on a lot of the older houses, so people have come to me and say, okay, I want to remodel my bathroom. I want to remodel my house to look like this. And I'm like, move. You can't. It's not ever you cannot ever make your house look like this. And then you break it down in cost-wise, explain to them that it's probably better for them to move and find a different house than try to make a house not, you can only do so much. And it doesn't only make sense to do so much. So I get a lot of referrals from that. And then again, I work with a lot of seniors. I really enjoy working with them. I work with the city. I have a nonprofit called Barred Ladder. So if there's a senior that's starting to get violations from the code because maybe they haven't trimmed their trees or they have like cars sitting there, and we have the equipment. So what takes me 10 or 20 minutes to go down there and just like trim their branch and help maybe make that connection, if you ever are thinking of moving. So it's kind of a service that we do to help them and the city. And then, it may come back or it may not, but either way, I've helped and contributed back to my city.
So that's a nonprofit that you have. So you help people that get notices, to get their property back to where it should be.
Yeah. So I've worked with the county, like in code enforcement.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, because a lot of code enforcement doesn't want to fine you any more than you want to be fined, but they're doing their job too.
Sure.
If I can get somebody to come tow your car away that you have no use for, and they can do it for free, a lot of these people do it just because they can't afford it.
Yeah.
So if I can step in and create that transition, and then maybe, okay, well, if you know anybody, let me, this is what we do. So a lot more word of mouth. And then I've lived in the same house for 20 years on the east side, so I kind of focus on my neighborhood, always looking to stay kind of where I know best.
Yeah. So you're very familiar with that area.
I am. I call it, that's my hood. I'm going to meet, and also too, I always tell people, I'm going to see you at the only grocery store in town. So I want to know that like on that side of town, I want to know that I've sold you a good house and I've done a good job for you. So there's a different accountability, and I tend to fall to the Charlie Brown houses. I just love bringing a house back to life. A coat of paint done the right way goes a long way. So it's kind of fun.
So do you specialize in all kinds of or do you subcontract out? Do you do things yourself?
No,
too,
I subcontract everything out. Absolutely, yeah. That is not, I will not take on 100%. I do not, the only thing I will do myself is for my own house that I'm going to be in forever. So everything is subcontracted out with a licensed contractor here in Las Vegas. I will make recommendations, and I will, you can go by the budget-wise, but no, I do not. That's a totally different role. But I can at least tell them where their money goes and like what the realistic costs are because of my construction background, but that's not a line I overstep. I farm it out to the people that do it day in and day out here in Las Vegas.
So so how do people find you in your website? Because you mentioned the TLC. What's the website you're how do people find it?
It's TLC Nevada, and it just TLC Nevada, and then my real estate website is Vegas Real Estate 411, and then I have a new one that's going to come out probably in the next couple of days. It's howsthemarket.vegas.
So is that a new URL they came out with?
Yeah,
Really?
.vegas. So it's been out for a while, and I had a bunch of them, but this one was like perfect because that's the first question people say is like, how's the market? And there's so many websites. That one is more of just an informational site. I love the idea of pushing as much information because there's some amazing realtors and a lot of information out there, but it gets overwhelming. So if you can go to one place and get that person's idea and that person's idea and that person's idea, and it's more of just an interactive site so people can post their ideas and their mishaps, so you don't, probably shouldn't have done that. You want to make sure you tell enough people so it prevents somebody from doing the same thing.
And Anetta, if somebody is watching this and interested in having you represent them as a buyer or seller, how do people get a hold of you?
You can call me. My phone number's been the same. Do I say my phone number?
Sure, yeah.
So it's 702-672-5646. Or my email is Anetta@tlcnevada.com. And I also work with Berkshire Hathaway in the Summerlin office, which I love, and pretty much it. I'm on Facebook. I never get on there, so if you expect an answer right away, I'm not like one of those that checks Facebook a ton, although I am starting to do that now, especially with stuff like this.
Sure.
It's my goal, but
Awesome.
that's how you get a hold of me.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Anetta, for taking time out of your busy day joining me on Real Estate Pros. We will see you guys on the next episode.
Thank you very much.